stole my suit. He's a menace to the entire city. I want that wall-crawling arachnid prosecuted. I want him strung out by his web. I want Spider-Man!
Because he can take it. Because he's not a hero. He's a silent guardian. A watchful protector.
I want Spider-Man!
A dark knight.
I know I'm not the only one who believes these two film trilogies stand in a league of their own. Dominating the cinemas in the 2000s, the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy and the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy set the standard or reimagined how these iconic characters would come to life on the silver screen. But which of these series are better, more long-lasting, and overall the greater set of films? Let's talk about it. To preface this analysis, I will be doing my best to approach this objectively. I am a Spider-Man fan through and through, but a close second of all time is assuredly the Caped Crusader. So, as to not be biased and keep this impartial and fun, I'll rein in my preferences. Alright, without further ado, let's get into this.
I think that they could have gone one of two ways. Way one was, let's play it safe. And way two was, let's just completely and totally entrust somebody to take this and make it their own.
Batman was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Upon his inception in the first version during the Golden Age, in Batman's first appearance in Detective Comics number 27, he is already operating as a crime fighter. Batman's origin is first presented in Detective Comics number 33, November of 1939. In his first story, according to DC.com, Batman was introduced as uninteresting socialite Bruce Wayne. Donning his iconic costume, he became a merciless crime fighter who dispatched hoodlums with grim satisfaction. A fitting end for his kind, Batman announced after knocking a criminal into a vat of acid. Nolan's Bruce shares a similar tragic catalyst in his backstory as well as sense of justice with the original Batman. However, the willingness to get the job done by any means necessary is not shared, as the film's Batman follows the no-kill rule, a rule established by editor Whitney Ellsworth. Story goes, in 1940, editor Whitney Ellsworth told Finger to never have him use guns again. The editor later created a policy for all published characters from killing, which stated heroes should never kill a villain, no matter the depths of his villainy. Officially, Batman's no-killing rule came into effect in Batman number 4. Thank you, Ellsworth, for bringing a refreshing sense of morality to these heroes. However, this does mean a crucial deviation that Nolan's Batman has with his classic comic counterpart. Spider-Man was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Story goes, Stan Lee was crafting an idea for a new hero and came across a fly crawling on the wall. Thinking, how cool would it be to have a superhero that could crawl on walls? Spider-Man was brought to life in the final issue of Amazing Fantasy number 15, August of 1962. The director Sam Raimi was indeed a fan of the early run of Spider-Man comics in the 60s, and so safe to say, he adapted faithfully the character the creators put to paper. From a modernized yet faithful adaptation of the classic red and blue costume, to a real respect for the characters of this mythos, down to setting the bar. But it's very clear to me that when it comes to adapting the character as of his inception, Sam Raimi's trilogy takes the cake here.
That's the romance of comics. more so than anything else, is you have to get the audience to believe that this person exists.
Spider-Man is not just a nationwide phenomenon, but a global one. A huge part of that has been these films. The first film broke records, won some awards, and helped to set the standard for what superhero films going forward would be. The second film became one of the most beloved superhero films of all time, while the third film grossed $895 million worldwide, making it the highest grossing film of the trilogy, the third highest grossing film of 2007, and was the highest grossing Spider-Man film until it was surpassed by Spider-Man Far From Home in 2019. Needless to say, this trilogy has left an indelible impact on both young and old still, and we still sing this trilogy's praises today. The Dark Knight trilogy, however, is no slouch either. Looking to renew and reinvent the franchise, Warner Brothers put the word out. This caught the attention of indie filmmaker Christopher Nolan, who, coming off of only 3 features, needless to say, had a clear vision for what his take would look like. This vision saw an ultra-realistic approach to Bruce Wayne and his transformation into the Batman. It was a complete 180 from Burton and even Schumacher, who played more to the comic book and campy feel of this character. The approach was well received, however, sparking a trilogy of Batman films that stand alone in tone, filmmaking technique, and themes. The first film established what Nolan saw and what this creative team could pull off. The second film became one of the most revered, not just comic book films, but films, period. The Dark Knight still sits prominently in the conversation of the greatest and most important films ever crafted, and for good reason. While The Dark Knight Rises won a few awards, ended on a pretty decent box office run, and brought a satisfying ending to this story. I'm seeing a little bit of a pattern here with these sequels. At the end of the day, judging the films by themselves, both are feats of fiction and non-fiction respectively. But the one with the bigger cultural impact by a hair has to go to Spider-Man. While Nolan's trilogy is revolutionary and so unique and emotionally resonant, outside of The Dark Knight, these films have fallen out of the conversation to a degree. While, because of projects like Spider-Man No Way Home and the lingering effects of the MCU, Raimi's trilogy is kept alive not just in our hearts but on our screens. Therefore, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man takes this.
The Dark Knight movies did establish that these kind of movies can be serious artistic objects.
Batman Begins grossed over $371.9 million worldwide, becoming the 9th highest grossing film of 2005 and was the 2nd highest grossing Batman film at the time, behind Tim Burton's Batman '89. The Dark Knight, with an estimated budget of $185 million, made $1.6 billion worldwide. Following that in 2012 with another billion-dollar monster, The Dark Knight Rises in 2012. It grossed over $1.8 billion worldwide, making it the 2nd film in the Batman film series to earn $1 billion, and the highest grossing Batman film to date. Spider-Man 2002, with a box office gross of over $825 million worldwide, was the 3rd highest grossing film of 2002, the highest grossing superhero film, and the 6th highest grossing film overall at the time of its release. Spider-Man 2 grossed $789 million worldwide, making it the 3rd highest grossing film of the year. The finale Spider-Man 3 earned $336.5 million in North America and $558.4 million in other countries, for a worldwide total of $894.9 million. The Spider-Man trilogy grossed a total of $2,508 million, while the Dark Knight trilogy makes $3,771 million. While Spidey was more well received upon arrival, it's no contest. The Dark Knight trilogy takes this.
Hear the music finally soar in a complete theme. And when the chorus kicks in, it's just very moving to me, and I feel that he has fulfilled his destiny.
Now, this fight here is gonna be tough. Both of these composers are legendary and iconic in their own right. Ironically, Danny Elfman crafted the iconic Batman '89 theme, while Hans Zimmer was tasked with reinvigorating Spider-Man's theme for Sony's second take on the character in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So each have touched both properties at one point. Hans Zimmer was brought on to craft the sound of Nolan's Batman and Gotham with help from James Newton Howard, and the resulting concoction is noteworthy. Working from a wealth of experience in a myriad of previous projects, Zimmer brought nothing less than his A-game. Batman was his hero growing up, and it shows in the passionate composition that followed. Danny Elfman was chosen to be the man to do for the first blockbuster Spider-Man feature what he'd done for the first blockbuster Batman feature: make it iconic. We'll also be adding composer Christopher Young to this list, as he's credited with some significant additions to this trilogy's soundscape, primarily the symbiote and Sandman themes. Let's take a listen to some of the most recognizable and memorable motifs and music moments from these films. Elfman's mastery and meticulous process shines in his score of New York and the theme for the hero. Or rather, themes.
Peter Parker and Spider-Man actually had two different themes that I used. I used one for Peter Parker and one for Spider-Man. And that was a little bit of a process I went through with Sam, because first I wrote the Spider-Man theme. I thought that was very clear. That's Spider-Man, a hero, swinging through buildings and saving the girl. And something really brassy and heroic. Yet, it didn't seem to play the heart of the kind of lost Peter Parker character looking to please
Uncle
Ben.
Uncle Ben?
That was the struggle. It's like, this theme is working for Spider-Man, but it's not playing that heart of the character. And then I found a variation on part of Spider-Man's theme and spun that into a whole different theme, which became Peter Parker's theme. And then once I got that, I realized, wow, it's like, there's two sides to the character and two different themes that seem to play them. Sam was like really, really happy at that point, because that's what he was looking for in the film.
The fact that this mad genius thought to write two themes, similar in structure, for the protagonist furthers the theme of duality. And as a bonus, Sandman's theme alone is a masterpiece and deserves its own video, but it's easy to give this to Hans Zimmer's dramatic, gothic, and emotional music, underscoring Gotham and coloring Batman's journey. It's memorable, driving, and dynamic. Zimmer's composition and these films are inseparable. Zimmer's acute knowledge of how to use and expand upon a simple melody is tantalizing, tragic, and triumphant here.
They're called popcorn movies for a reason. And you go and you see one of these movies and you realize, like, half of your popcorn has gone uneaten because you just became completely and totally riveted by the story.
Two origin stories from two prolific pop culture icons that have been seared into the minds of millions. We need no reminder of the story of Peter's radioactive spider bite or Bruce's tragic loss of his parents, but how about their film counterparts? Sure, we could debate which comic origin we favor, but whose film trilogy tells a more compelling, complete, and captivating story? Spider-Man centers on student Peter Parker, who, after being bitten by a genetically altered spider, gains superhuman strength and the spider-like ability to cling to any surface. He vows to use his abilities to fight crime, coming to understand the words of his beloved Uncle Ben: with great power comes great responsibility. When a failed nuclear fusion experiment results in an explosion that kills his wife, Dr. Otto Octavius is transformed into Dr. Octopus, a cyborg with deadly metal tentacles. Doc Ock blames Spider-Man for the accident and seeks revenge. Meanwhile, Spidey's alter ego Peter Parker faces fading powers and self-doubt. Complicating matters are his best friend's hatred for Spider-Man and his true love's sudden engagement to another man. Peter Parker and MJ seem to finally be on the right track in their complicated relationship, but trouble looms for the superhero and his lover. Peter's Spider-Man suit turns black and takes control of him, not only giving Peter enhanced power, but also bringing out the dark side of his personality. Peter must overcome the suit's influence as two supervillains, Sandman and Venom, rise up to destroy him and all those he holds dear. A young Bruce Wayne travels to the Far East, where he's trained in the martial arts by Henry Ducard, a member of the mysterious League of Shadows. When Ducard reveals the League's true purpose, the complete destruction of Gotham City, Wayne returns to Gotham intent on cleaning up the city without resorting to murder. With the help of Alfred, his loyal butler, and Lucius Fox, a tech expert at Wayne Enterprises, Batman is born. With the help of allies Lieutenant Jim Gordon and DA Harvey Dent, Batman has been able to keep a tight lid on crime in Gotham City. But when a vile young criminal calling himself the Joker suddenly throws the town into chaos, the Caped Crusader begins to tread a fine line between heroism and vigilantism. It has been 8 years since Batman, in collusion with Commissioner Gordon, vanished into the night. Assuming responsibility for the death of Harvey Dent, Batman sacrificed everything for what he and Gordon hoped would be the greater good. However, the arrival of a cunning cat burglar and a merciless terrorist named Bane forced Batman out of exile and into a battle he may not be able to win. Obviously, these synopses leave out a ton of details and the character development therein. That being said, going off of these descriptions and filling in the blanks, I'd have to give it to the Dark Knight trilogy. Hear me. Both trilogies start with the origin and end with a matured protagonist feeling more or less complete, but Nolan has the added benefit of ultra-realism that definitely helps with the immersion. Raimi's Spider-Man also is an action-adventure relationship drama through and through. It knows its lane and sticks to it. Nolan's Batman, conversely, dips into multiple genres, touching on the romanticism of a coming-of-age tale, crime drama, and classic epic, while telling complete stories each time. Whereas Spider-Man 2 ends with a cliffhanger, and Spider-Man 3 decidedly ends in an ambiguous manner. Each film in Nolan's trilogy has a solid ending, where yes, you could tell more story, but you're not relying on that to be satisfied with what you get. I also can concede the structure of Raimi's films can get repetitive, whereas Nolan's find just enough in those genre shifts to give you something unique each time. So, the Dark Knight trilogy has the better story. In the end, on all accounts, these film trilogies stand in a league of their own, and for good reason. These movies and their respective characters are loved and respected and have left a legacy that will be talked about as long as there are those to watch. Hope you enjoyed this analysis. Leave a like and a comment if so, and if not, hey, thanks for staying this long. Till next time, may the Lord bless and keep y'all. Peace and deuces.